Welcome to the Horror Next Door. We're back with some of our favorite new horror trailers for August 2020. If you enjoy everything from the world of horror, movies, video games, masks, and memorabilia, please subscribe. Before we begin, I'd just like to thank everybody for getting us to 400 subscribers and helping us reach our goal of 1,000. Now, on with the trailers.
Hall. When a debilitating sickness spreads across a long hotel hallway, a few scattered victims fight for survival and try to escape from the dark, narrow stretch of isolated carnage. Isolation automatically creates tension and a sense of dread, so this definitely has the potential to be interesting. It seems like on the alerts on the television and things, people are being told to be cautious and stay indoors, so I'm not really sure why they're leaving their rooms and why they show the little girl wandering around when all these sick people are crawling around on the floor and stuff. I'm just hoping that everyone in this movie doesn't act stupid the whole time and make the viewing experience frustrating.
So I feel like zombie movies are a dime a dozen, but this trailer actually looks pretty good. I'm curious why people are getting infected. Is it some kind of terrorist attack or what? I mean, all of a sudden the woman's in the hotel room and all of a sudden she's coming down with something. So I'm curious how she got it. So yeah, looks like it has potential to be a good zombie flick.
Alone. A recently widowed traveler is kidnapped by a cold-blooded killer, only to escape into the wilderness where she is forced to battle against the elements as her pursuer closes in on her. The idea of him following her for so long is very eerie. The trailer alone makes me feel the unease that the main character feels. So, to me, that's a sign of the movie itself being intense and never getting boring. All of the stuff with her out in the wilderness, trying to hide and get away from him, looks especially great, and I feel like she'll be a character that you really want to root for. There are plenty of horror movies out there where you couldn't care less if someone dies, and sometimes you're actually hoping they get killed, so I think it's cool when you like someone and you want them to survive.
We have been on a true crime kick as of recent. I am interested if this movie explains what this guy's motivation is, why he's doing these things, and how many times has he done it before? Is this his first time? Probably not. But how many other victims has he claimed over the years?
Yeah, no, there's a little part where he's like, do you think you're the first one to say that? Or something like that, so he's experienced.
Yeah, maybe she runs into one of his other victims. That would be cool. But the movie looks good. Looks like it's going to be one of those thrill ride type movies where shit gets going and it just keeps going. Can't wait to see this one. Also, I think the killer kind of looks like William H. Macy.
I told him I do not agree, so you should leave a comment and tell us if you think that the killer guy looks like William H. Macy or does not look like William H. Macy. Come play. Parents fight to save their son when a mysterious creature uses his electronic devices to break into our world.
Come Play is based off a 2017 short film called Larry and stars John Gallagher Jr. from Underwater, The Belko Experiment, Hush, and 10 Cloverfield Lane.
The monster creature thing looks pretty cool, and with better CGI than, say, the Jangly Man from the severely disappointing Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark movie. I think it's a little bit silly that you can only see Larry, which is a funny name for a monster thing, but maybe he used to be a human and he turned into a monster. But anyway, I just think it's kind of silly that you can only see him through a tablet or a phone screen or whatever. I don't understand why that would be, but whatever. It looks like it could be a fun, light, late night viewing type of thing, and I do think the fact that the main kid is autistic dude, as the little girl says, and doesn't speak adds something to the story.
So this movie is PG-13, and I think it looks a tad cheesy, but there are some good PG-13 horror films out there, and this looks good enough to check out. Hopefully it doesn't become a Bye-Bye Man situation.
The Dark and the Wicked. On a secluded farm in a nondescript rural town, a man is slowly dying. His family gathers to mourn, and soon a darkness grows, marked by waking nightmares and a growing sense that something evil is taking over the family.
The Dark and the Wicked is written and directed by Brian Bertino, who also wrote and directed The Strangers.
This is one of those trailers that makes you want to see if and how the mystery of the sinister being is revealed. Some films are really subtle about it, and some let you come to your own conclusions. Others are over-explained, but regardless of which this film does, the trailer did a good job of making me want more. It is almost as though some of the people can see more than others can, such as the mother who killed herself after the chair moved, or the weirdo who was asking if other people could smell him.
I don't really have much to say other than the fact that this movie looks like one of those movies where, as you're watching it, just a lot of WTF moments happen that kind of catch you off guard. Sort of like in the vein of Hereditary. You know, you're invested in the movie and you're interested in what's going on, and then weird things happen out of the blue, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? That's kind of the vibe I get from this movie, which is part of what makes me want to see it.
Martha is dead. Tuscany, 1944. A conflict intensifies between German and Allied forces. The body of a woman is found drowned. Her twin sister must alone deal with the acute trauma of loss, while the truth of the brutal murder is shrouded by mysterious folklore and the extreme horror of war, which draws ever closer.
Martha is Dead is a first-person psychological thriller that combines disturbing and dreamlike tones with a mix of history, superstition, and psychological distress. Martha is Dead runs on the Unreal Engine 4.
Speaking of disturbing and dreamlike, when I first saw this trailer, it reminded me of Twin Peaks and the circumstances around them finding Laura Palmer on the shore. It's intriguing that it takes place back in the 40s when they didn't have the science and technology to process evidence and find those that committed crimes as easily. And it definitely seems like a new, unique way of playing a game, perhaps in the vein of something like Heavy Rain. I mean, we'll have to see what the actual game mechanics are like, but I guess I'm just thinking more of the crime and the murder itself and how dark everything feels.
Yeah, the trailer is dark. The part where the person removes the girl's face is especially messed up. We've seen that in movies before, but I don't know if I've ever seen that in a video game. It's going to be interesting to see how they tie the war in with this murder mystery, but I love me a good horror video game, so can't wait to play this.
Death of Me. Vacationing on an island off of the coast of Thailand, couple Neil and Christine awake hungover with no memory of the previous night. They find footage on Neil's camera and watch horrified as Neil appears to murder Christine. With 24 hours until the next ferry and a typhoon threatening the island, Christine and Neil attempt to reconstruct the night's events and are snared in a web of mystery, black magic, and murder.
Death of Me is directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, director of Saw 2, 3, 4, and the upcoming Saw sequel Spiral, and also the great Repo the Genetic Opera. Death of Me stars Maggie Q from Live Free or Die Hard and Fantasy Island, and Luke Hemsworth, who is the older brother of Chris and Liam Hemsworth.
There is a lot to unpack here. I mean, I really don't understand how anyone watching this wouldn't want to know more unless they're just blatantly not interested in horror films or the storyline itself. But I definitely am. I cannot even imagine waking up like, what the hell happened last night? And then seeing a videotape of someone killing me, and let alone someone you're really close to and that, you know, you're in love with or whatever. And being like, what the hell is going on? How am I still alive? Why did you do that to me? And all the black magic aspects and everything of it are, I mean, that could go in so many different directions. The typhoon aspect of it really wasn't even identified in the trailer, but that adds another layer to it. It just seems crazy. I'm just looking forward to seeing all of the madness unravel. Hopefully getting a answer or like a solution to the mystery, but not an overly explained answer to the mystery.
I am a big fan of Darren Lynn Bousman, so just the fact that he's directing this automatically makes me interested in seeing this film. But now after watching the trailer, I am very intrigued with this movie. I've seen other movies that dealt with black magic, so I'm sure this movie is going to be just as weird. I'm curious to find out how these two people are apparently continuing to die, but wake up the next day like everything's fine. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of black magic explanation or something similar. Definitely going to have to check this one out when it's finally released.
As always, thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to leave a comment letting us know your thoughts on these trailers. All of the trailers that we discuss will be linked in the description box below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and don't forget to check out our store and visit our social media pages. Until next time. Doesn't speak, add something to the story.
Don't speak, I know it's what you say.